Last year, Americans spent tens of billions of dollars on tips. Yet millions of service workers still struggle to cover basic expenses. We are paying more, and somehow the people serving us are still earning less stability. If you've ever felt that brief moment of hesitation when a payment screen spins toward you, asking for 20%, 25%, or even 30%, you're not imagining the tension. It's not just a social moment. It's a sign that something deeper in the wage system may be shifting. Meet Sarah. She's 29 and works as a lead server in a mid-size restaurant in Atlanta. She works about 45 hours a week and earns the federal tipped base wage, $2.13 an hour, a number that hasn't changed since 1991. Her rent is $1,600. Her car payment is $350. She still carries about $22,000 in student loans. Sarah's goal is simple: build a $5,000 emergency fund. But her income can fluctuate by nearly 30% from week to week, depending on traffic, weather, and the mood of the dining room. On slow nights, after sharing tips with the bar and kitchen, she sometimes feels like she's paying the restaurant for the chance to work. Sarah believes in the idea behind tipping. If service is good, customers should reward it. She memorizes regulars' orders, remembers allergies, and keeps the tables moving. But the reality of her paycheck doesn't always match the effort. Her income isn't tied only to her work. It's tied to the unpredictable decisions of dozens of strangers each shift. For Sarah, the challenge isn't laziness. It's trying to build a stable life on income that changes every week. Most of us were taught that tipping works like a merit system. Great service earns bigger tips. Average service earns less. But data suggests the connection is weaker than many people think.
Studies have shown that factors like customer mood, weather, or bill size often influence tip amounts as much as service quality itself. And as prices rise with inflation, some customers quietly reduce tip percentages to keep their total bill manageable. The result is a strange contradiction. Customers feel pressure to tip more often, while workers like Sarah experience more unpredictable income. Sarah's story isn't unusual. Across the United States, nearly 4 million workers rely on tips as part of their income. At the same time, tipping itself has expanded into places it rarely existed before. Coffee counters, takeout windows, self-service kiosks, payment tablets now frequently suggest tips of 20%, 25%, or even 30% before a customer even makes a choice. Surveys show that more than 2/3 of Americans believe tipping culture has expanded too far. Yet many still feel uncomfortable selecting no tip when the screen appears. It's not just a personal decision anymore. It's becoming a widespread pattern. Part of the explanation lies in how the wage system is structured. Under federal law, employers in many states can pay tipped workers a base wage of $2.13 per hour, as long as tips bring their earnings up to the standard minimum wage. If tips fall short, employers are legally required to make up the difference. But in practice, tips still make up a large portion of many workers' income. Digital payment systems have also made it easier to prompt customers for gratuities during nearly any transaction. For businesses operating on tight margins, tipping allows labor costs to remain flexible. For workers, it creates income that can rise or fall dramatically depending on customer behavior. Economists sometimes describe this as a transfer of risk. In a traditional wage system, the business absorbs most of the risk when sales slow down. In a tipping-based system, some of that uncertainty shifts to the worker and sometimes to the customer. At the same time, payment software can subtly influence decisions through what economists call choice architecture. When a screen suggests 20%, 25%, or 30%, many people choose one of the options simply to avoid social discomfort. Individually, each decision is small, but across millions of transactions, those nudges can reshape how compensation works. If these trends continue, tipping may appear in more and more everyday transactions. Some businesses are already experimenting with alternatives, higher menu prices combined with no-tip policies. Others continue expanding tip prompts through digital payment systems. Meanwhile, workers remain caught between two pressures: customers feeling tip fatigue and employers trying to control rising costs. The result is a system where everyone feels the tension,
but no single group fully controls the outcome. There is, of course, another side to the story. Many restaurants operate on profit margins as thin as 3 to 5%. Switching suddenly to higher fixed wages could require significant price increases, which might drive away customers or force closures. Some experienced servers also prefer tipping systems because strong nights can bring in far higher pay than a fixed hourly wage. And payment technology companies argue they simply provide tools. The business owners decide how those tools are used. In other words, the tipping system persists, partly because it solves different problems for different groups. The screens will likely keep flipping for a while, and each time they do, customers face the same quiet question: how much is fair? But the deeper issue isn't the percentage on the screen, it's the structure underneath. Because when a system depends on voluntary generosity to function, stability can become fragile. And the real question may not be whether people will keep tipping, it's whether a wage system built on uncertainty can keep working once both workers and customers begin to feel the strain.